Installing and configuring Ansible. If we go to docs.ansible.com and check their installation guide, we'll see that there are multiple ways to install it. If you are on macOS, like I am, you're probably thinking you should do it through Homebrew. And while I'd usually agree with that statement, a while ago I needed an Ansible feature which was only available in the latest release. And Homebrew was lagging behind. So I went with Python's pip package installer, and as you can see here, the official installation guide for macOS recommends using pip. In terminal, I will create a new directory called Ansible, and I'm doing this on my laptop, not on the VPS. Remember that with Ansible, you are pushing the changes to the server. In this directory, I will then create a new Python virtual environment. You always want to create a new virtual environment when starting a new project. That way you won't pollute your own system and you avoid version conflicts between Python packages. I have a shell function to help me with that. It will call a Python module named venv, and in a new directory also named venv, it will create virtual environment. It will then activate it, and inside it, it will upgrade pip, suppressing any output. So if I run it, after a few seconds, you will see that my prompt has changed and that the leftmost part suggests that venv is now activated. We can finally install Ansible. After a few minutes, installation is done. And just to be sure, we can check it with pip freeze command, which will list all installed packages and their versions. So we have Ansible 4.8.0 and also some dependencies that came with it. I'll go back to the slides. We did only this first step, and at this point we can't really do anything with Ansible. It doesn't know what to do, which hosts to connect to, how to connect to them, what to configure, etc. Ansible has a ton of configuration options, and if you check the official docs page about it, just by the size of this scroll bar here, you can see that this is ridiculous. Don't get intimidated, our configuration will be pretty simple. First, we need a simple file called ansible.cfg. Back in the terminal, if we list the contents of our current directory, we will see that there is only a venv directory. I'll then create ansible.cfg, and in it we need only two lines, this defaults header and inventory equals hosts. This second line will specify that our inventory, that's how Ansible calls target hosts, will be listed in a file named hosts. Obviously, the second thing we need to create is a file named hosts. Again, I'll open the terminal, and in file name hosts, I'll type in the following. You give it some kind of header. I'll use main, and underneath the header, you specify your hosts. This is the same thing I wrote in SSH config entry, if you remember. Ansible knows how to read SSH config and will use any parameters you specified there. As you'd expect, this can get a lot more complicated. Let's say that you have some database servers, DB1 and DB2, and maybe some web servers, WS1, WS2, WS3, etc. We'll keep it simple. We have only one VPS, so we don't need any of those. Last thing we need is a file named setup.yml. And as you've guessed it, this can also look extremely complicated, but in our case, it's just hosts and then the header you used in a hosts file, followed by roles colon. Underneath, we will list all our roles that we will apply to this server. We added a minimal configuration with ansible.cfg and hosts files, and in setup.yml, we started to create a so-called Ansible playbook. Playbook is comprised of Ansible roles. You can add as many roles as you like. When you run an Ansible playbook, it will execute each role defined in that playbook. You use roles to split a playbook into meaningful parts, And the way you do that is mostly a matter of choice, whatever makes sense to you. Think of it as a task you wish to accomplish. It may be a small tweak to the system or deploying a large and complicated application. If this didn't click yet, don't worry. It will make more sense later because for the most part, the remaining of this course will involve using roles.